9. Jacob Estey Company, and the invention of the cottage organ. In 1863, Jacob Estey bought the shares of Hartzell P. Green from Estey and Green. Jacob Estey became now the sole owner of this melodeon manufactory in Brattleboro, Vermont. Jacob Estey continued producing the perfect melodeon, equipped with the patented bass damper and the harmonic attachment, including now also the manual sub-bass. The manual sub-bass was an additional box, including bass-free reeds, which could be added with a stop. Around 30 different variations of melodeons were built by Jacob Estey. A newly developed free reed organ is also offered by J. Estey in 1863. The school harmonium. This was probably a cheap free reed organ variant. As early as January 1862, Mason and Hamlin, free reed organ builders from Boston, Massachusetts, also advertised a school harmonium. Unfortunately, I couldn't find an illustration of a school harmonium by Jacob Estey or by Mason and Hamlin. Also in 1863, Jacob Estey introduced the cottage organ. The cottage organ was introduced with the exactly same attributes as the school harmonium. An advertisement from 1864-65 shows how the newly developed Estey cottage organ looked like. And so probably also the Schul harmonium. According to Estey, it's the best free reed organ in the country, absolutely unequaled. But, according to Mason and Hamlin, from Boston, they had already patented the best free reed organ in the world in 1862. The cabinet organ. Mason and Hamlin's world's best cabinet organ was advertised in 1863, just above Jacob Estey's cottage organ. Ironically, in 1862, Mason and Hamlin's cabinet organ was still called the New Style Harmonium. The Mason and Hamlin New Style Harmonium was a free reed organ based on the European harmonium box construction but with American technology. Suction wind bellows. It was a huge success in the USA from the beginning, and the instrument won awards, which led to being quickly copied by other manufacturers. Mason and Hamlin then renamed the New Style Harmonium to cabinet organ, which name was then copyrighted. Mason and Hamlin New Style Harmonium, cabinet organ. Jacob Estey's cottage organ clearly incorporated features of the Mason and Hamlin cabinet organ. Probably was also the layouts of the Mason and Hamlin and Jacob Estey Schul harmonium. At this time, many new patents were filed for American free reed organs from different manufacturers that were very similar. This often led to legal disputes. Mason and Hamlin, Boston, Massachusetts, product range, 1863. Jacob Estey, product range, 1863. 1863 patents. Mason and Hamlin. The knee stop, the double bellows, the automatic bellows swell. Jacob Estey. Bass damper, harmonic attachment, manual sub-bass. 1864. Fire at the Estey Melodeon Factory. While one newspaper reported total destruction, another wrote of a significant portion being lost for the Estey Melodeon Factory in Brattleboro. It is clear that a large Estey factory building on the site of the later Brattleboro house burned completely to the ground. The building was heated day and night with furnace and steam and was therefore as dry as a tinderbox. It quickly burned to the ground. To control the flames from spreading, the neighboring Farnsworth building was watered by the fire department. During this work, the factory's building side walls collapsing, and killed 2 firefighters. William E. Nichols, assistant engineer. Grenville P. Kidd-Dredge, engineer of No. 3, Engine Company. In addition to Jacob Estey, subtenants also lost properties. Jacob Estey lost $27,000, insurance $25,000. Smith and Coffin, planing mill, lost $500. Levi Knight Fuller, machine shop, all destroyed, lost $2,500, no insurance. A.G. Norse, lumber, lost $500. In my research, I was unable to locate exactly which Estey factory buildings burned in January 1864. According to all newspaper reports, it was a building that stood on the site where later the Brattleboro House was built. The Brattleboro House is clearly opposite the bridge on the 1895 Brattleboro map. According to photos, the main building of the J. Estey factory was also located at this spot, opposite the bridge. But the 1869 Brattleboro map shows the 4 Estey factory buildings at a different location, and an additional Estey factory building at the later Brattleboro House site, which is confusing. In any case, the building that stood on the site where the Brattleboro House was later built burned down, which was, most likely, the large building in the middle. According to the Rutland Weekly Herald, the Estey factory building, which burned down in January 1864, was already completely rebuilt in March 1864. In a drawing from 1876, a horse-drawn carriage, loaded with Estey organs, can be seen passing in the foreground of the Brattleboro House, probably on its way to the train station. The boxes are labeled with the destinations: London, Bremen, Boston, Paris. I also noticed that the small factory building in the middle is illustrated differently in some pictures. Photos show this building with 2 windows per story on the front side. But drawings show this building with 4 windows per story. The buildings on the drawings date, probably, from the period after the fire in 1864, and were published as an advertising card and in an Estey catalog of 1867. I don't think it was a mistake on the part of the artists, but rather that this building may have burned down, along with the large building in January 1864, and was subsequently rebuilt larger. Or it may have been enlarged at one time. However, this all remains my own speculation. Brattleboro historians may have more details on this. Estey newspaper advertisement in 1874, after Reconstruction. At this time, the production was approximately 25 to 30 instruments per week. The fire in 1864 did not stop the rising of the Estey organs. Estey continued with advertising, newspaper advertisement, from 1865. In this advertisement 1865, you can see that the company name of Estey has changed. Jacob Estey became now Estey and Company. In order to generate new funds for further expansion, Jacob Estey brought new partners into the company. J. Estey and Company was founded together with Riley Burdett, Silas M. Waite, Bullard, and Cheney. While Silas M. Waite, Bullard, and Cheney were new to the company, Riley Burdett had been active in the free reed organ business in Brattleboro since 1846 and had been with Estey since 1852. Riley Burdett, Silas M. Waite, Jacob Estey, and Levi K. Fuller, who lost all his machinery in the fire of 1864, all had taxable incomes over $600 in 1865. And will play a major role in the next parts of the Jacob Estey and Brattleboro free reed story. In 1865, the new firm Estey Company claimed that its newly developed knee stop had several advantages over the automatic bellows swell. The automatic bellows swell was patented by Mason and Hamlin in 1862, with N for their cabinet organ. The automatic bellows swell was invented by George Woods, foreman of the action department at Mason and Hamlin. George Woods had already worked between 1853 and 1856 in a melodeon factory in Brattleboro. Founded by Samuel H.Jones and former Jacob Estey partner E.B. Carpenter. This company was acquired by Estey and Green in 1856. Carpenter went to Mendota, Illinois, and Jones and Woods went to Boston, Massachusetts, where Woods joined Mason and Hamlin. Coming next. The development of the cottage organ opened many new doors for the Estey Company. The founding of Jacob Estey Company was just the beginning of a major transformation. The Jacob Estey Company split into three parts in 1866. New factories were built. Son Julius Jacob and son-in-law Levi Fuller, together with father Jacob Estey, formed the new J. Estey Company Cottage Organ Manufactory. Up to this point, Jacob Estey had been very successful with his free reed organs. But now began the rise to the largest free reed organ factory in the world. Coming next, the Estey Empire formed.